provide the prose poems. I, Citizen Kane, shall provide the war. And when the newspapers are ashes, then you have my permission to cry.
I hate to interrupt you, Citizen Bane, but welcome to the Hate to Interrupt podcast.
What the fuck?
I'm Nick from Stop Culture, and I'm joined by...
I'm a VHS guy, Nick.
And I'm Ethan from youtube.com/Gulif.
Yeah, and so today we're going to be talking about Citizen Kane by Orson Welles and written by Herman Mankiewicz. And then we're also going to be talking about the 2020 sort of making of Citizen Kane movie that goes into a lot of other stuff. Yeah, it's directed by David Fincher, 2020's Mank, which I hadn't seen before.
Me neither.
It's kind of like a blind spot for me in David Fincher's filmography for a long time. I don't know. I think I told you guys I tried to watch it during the pandemic, and then I just sort of fell asleep and never tried again.
If it's not a movie you're fully invested in, like ready to watch, then you will probably like drift off.
Well, like whenever I was a kid, I watched like Citizen Kane on Turner Classic Movies, and like I was like 8 years old, so I don't remember anything. So I think Mank was completely lost on me when I was originally watching it, and yeah, I like fell asleep during it.
So when did you actually watch Citizen Kane for the first time as an adult? I thought you had seen it before.
I'd never seen it as an adult. I've watched it as a kid. I probably was older than 8, but I'd watch a lot of like Turner Classic Movies back in the day. That and like the old Scarface, like the 50s Scarface.
Yeah. I saw Citizen Kane for the first time like 3 or 4 years ago. I've probably seen it like 3 or 4 times throughout my life. I really love the movie. I think it's one of those rare older classic films that genuinely deserves its distinction as like one of the greatest films of all time. I think it really does hold up that way. Not even just for it being influential and important. I think it's just still a really fun movie to watch in a lot of ways, and it's still really enriching. Super unique, obviously. Like you have to respect it technically as well, obviously. But when we were doing this rewatch, I started watching Mank first. And then I was like, I feel like this is a stupid way to do this. I should probably watch Citizen Kane first and then watch Mank, because you're not going to get all the references. Like Mank is Mank is a companion piece to Citizen Kane, you know?
Yeah, it feels like a fan made this.
I watched Mank first, and I think it kind of worked better that way for me, because I was like, ooh, this is the part they were talking about in Mank that they were doing it this way. It's like, oh, this is the scene that he was talking about where he starts breaking shit. You know, like it was like a bunch of aha moments when I was watching Citizen Kane.
So you're saying that you think Citizen Kane, Orson Welles was initially like, we're making this movie as a companion piece to 2020's Mank.
That's what they mean. That's what they mean when they say it's ahead of its time, right?
I think in 80 years, a man named David will make a really cool companion piece to this.
Yeah. No, I mean Mank. Wait, should we talk about Citizen Kane first, or Citizen Bane, or Mank?
We can talk about it interchangeably. I don't think it really matters that much.
Yeah, I think we could probably talk about both.
Well, I was thinking, since we're doing Citizen Bane, what if instead of Mank, it was Dank, and it was just about Mank, but he was writing dank memes for the internet instead of the best movie of all time?
I was thinking, like, what if it was Stank?
Stank,
we're so Zoomer brain rotted. We're
and
like,
he was
how do
just
we make
like
this a funny bit?
And he was just stinking the whole time. He's just a smelly guy.
He smelled like alcohol.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if we're not gonna break it up, I really love Citizen Kane, man. I feel like it's just right from the beginning, like the first frames of the movie when it's just so that slow pan up the chain link fence, and then there's all those like beautiful matte paintings of Xanadu and everything, and it just slowly gets closer to his deathbed where he says Rosebud for the first time. It's just like structured in such an interesting way. Like first it's that, then it's the news montage that goes into, and then it's the newscasters that are trying to figure out what Rosebud means. It's just a very interesting, unique, even to this day, I feel like it's a very unique way to start a story. You know what I mean? It like grabs you immediately.
I think the story structure and even the themes are all pretty modern. Like it still holds up to this day. I think a lot of the credit people give it as far as like cinematography and how it looks are just because it was ahead of its time. I think if we're looking at it against modern cinematography, doesn't look that great, but like compared, like when you're actually looking at it for its time, it looks amazing.
Oh man, it's incredible for this time.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to keep that in mind. I mean, there's so many more limitations on them, but they were forced to think so. It's like the Beatles, you know, like a lot of people don't like the Beatles as much because they compare it to, well, like my favorite band from 2025 does like all this shit, but they created the foundation for they basically created the sandbox that everyone else is playing in, you know.
The Beatles could not comprehend the mind of 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yes, that literally might be true, but still the Beatles are amazing, you know. But I don't, dude, the most striking thing about Citizen Kane to me is the fact that Orson Welles was fucking 24 years old when he did this.
Crazy.
Like for so many reasons, the fact that he made a movie of this caliber at 24 years old is fucking ridiculous. The fact that he was able to, or his makeup department or whatever was able to cake enough makeup and just prosthetics onto his face that it looked
actually
believable.
looked pretty good.
You know?
Yeah. I didn't realize he was that young when I watched this.
Yeah, it was after Googling. Yeah. But he also does just look old. A lot of the people in this time
face.
do look old. I loved how in Mank, whenever he's like, "Yeah, I'm 43," he just looks like a 70-year-old man.
He actually, he literally was. I assumed he was joking when he said that right at the end, and then
it's 43.
Yeah, and then they show you at the end like he died at 55, like whatever. 11 years later, it's like holy shit, he was actually 43.
Yeah, back in the 30s and 40s, everyone was like drinking a glass of milk, eating a steak for dinner, and smoking 20 packs of cigarettes a day.
Yeah, they got 65-year-old Gary Oldman to play 40-year-old Mankiewicz.
Mankiewicz, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, Nick, like Citizen Kane is obviously influential for the technical aspects, but I think even more so, it's thematically probably more influential than any movie from this time period that at least I can think of. I'm also not like super well versed in this era of film, but it definitely like you can see whispers of Charles Foster Kane and so many sort of like anti-heroic characters from nowadays. Like Logan Roy from Succession is obviously a huge hero. Have you guys seen Succession?
No, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he's the guy that always calls people a fucker or whatever, right?
He says "fuck off." That's his catchphrase.
Yeah, fuck off.
I think that there's a lot of movies from this time that I think were as well crafted as this film, but I don't think there's many that are as timeless. I don't think that a lot of them are made or telling a story about a character that is as relatable for such a long period of time as this one is.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
That's it. That was my point.
Like, what are some of the guys' like other big movies around this time that you have seen?
I feel like the only real director
is Hitchcock is a big one, but that was in the 50s, really.
I used to watch a lot of like John Ford movies. Like he's really the only other director from this time that I'd like watch movies of.
God, talk about a generic name. Oh my gosh, dude.
Like what's that fucking war movie he did? I don't remember. But I watched what was on TV. That was really all I've seen of any of this era of movies. Mojimbo.
I've seen the movie M by Fritz Lang. I saw that. That's a 1931 movie, so that's probably the oldest movie I've seen. I don't remember anything about it though. Yeah. But yeah, no, I can see why it was so influential, like for Citizen Kane, because it really just like, I don't know, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I feel like maybe that wasn't really as big a thing where you get these like this whole like retrospective on the character and the way they structured it in a way where the first like kind of opening scene essentially, or not the opening scene, the opening 10 minutes are they tell you the entire story just from the perspective of the general public, and then you get to go into in depth on it. And one of those, it might be one of the first movies that had like this really deep, like what does Rosebud mean? Like there's themes going on. There's like a layering and interpretation of the art that you can take from it. I don't know how much of that was around at the time, but that might be why it was so.
I don't know that there's that much interpretation. I think the story is pretty straightforward. I think the interesting part is just the idea that nobody really got a full grasp of who this person was. And I think it is kind of cool that like us as the viewers kind of get the most complete grasp after hearing everybody else's perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the whole thing. That they're at the end there, right before they show you the Rosebud thing. The one of the
sled
writers, the sled. One of the writers who's trying to figure out what Rosebud means is like, ultimately, it doesn't really matter. Like, you can't explain one man's life in just a single word, and the entire movie is basically just showing you subjective snapshots of this one super important guy's life from a bunch of different perspectives, from people who knew him but also kind of hated him. So you like really don't. It's sort of like you're getting unreliable narrators the whole time, even though they're
not
playing
everybody.
you
I mean,
flashbacks.
some people like the Bernstein guy was like almost way too positive of him, right? Like there was.
He's the only one though. He's like the only one that liked him. I feel like he had a giant portrait of him. He was like Paulie Walnuts from from Sopranos. He just fucking loved Kane so much.
But I think everybody also showed like a different aspect of like where he was flawed, right? So like everybody kind of had a different point of view.
Yeah. I mean, that's the most interesting thing about it is that it sets up this initial mystery with Rosebud. You don't know what that means. That's kind of the only thing that the movie doesn't spell out for you right within the first 5 minutes. Like, you know, the protagonist dies. You know that he becomes a piece of shit. You know that he becomes exorbitantly wealthy, and that kind of corrupts him over time, and that he's this like highly controversial figure. You figure all of that out within the first 5 minutes, which most movies would spend the entire runtime showing you how or why that happens or why you should care. But this one, it's like the only thing that really matters is this single word. And ultimately, yeah, like, of course, Rosebud means so much because he's basically someone that was robbed of a childhood, more or less, and he was like given over to a bank because I think the implication is that his father was abusive and his mom was like, I guess you can get a better life away from him and we'll just give you up to this fucking banker and hopefully you can get educated and do something with your life. I don't know. Like, did you? That's the last thing she says before what's that guy's Thatcher takes him away is like, you know, what is he says something like, oh, he needs a thrashing or something. He's like, and that's exactly why I'm doing this. So
yeah, definitely abusive.
Yeah,
piece of shit.
The part I found most engaging about like the like, I guess, portion of the movie was the whole section where he gets his second wife and is obsessed with turning her into a singer, even though she's just an okay singer. Like, I'm going to force you into the limelight because I think you're great, and it's going to ruin us and you.
I don't even think that he doesn't even think that she's great. He just he probably is. You know, there's maybe some love goggles there. He thinks she's better than she is. But
no, they explained it. It was like a pride thing because that article came out where they said that she was a quote unquote singer. And he's like, he wanted to remove those quote unquotes.
Yeah, exactly. It's only like he only wants people to love her because of her proximity to him. You know, like if people love her, that means by proxy they're also loving him. You know, I mean, the other thing about this movie I think is really interesting is like its own proximity to the end of the Great Depression. Like, people were clearly ready and willing to love a movie like this that just depicts these like wealthy capitalists as corrupt and sort of hypocritical in a way. Like, I really love how the movie is just showing that the entire time Kane is talking about the working man, like he cares so much about the working man in his stump speeches. That's all he talks about. But when it comes down to it, that Leland character is like, yeah, you talk about them all the time, but when it comes down to them actually organizing and becoming a political force, like, you're not going to enjoy that.
No.
You only want them to have as much power as you're willing to gift them. Like, you don't actually want them to have rights on their own, that's like all these fucking people, you know, like that's why the philanthropy of capitalists, we can never actually depend on it, you know. But I really enjoyed that part about it too, and it felt like very historically relevant for that reason too. I didn't think about that when I saw it for the first time, but you know, 1941,
1941.
right?
But movies back then I think took pretty long to make.
Yeah, I could assume. I could assume they worked on this for a long time.
Mid-30s, something like that.
Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, like, getting to Mank a little bit. I just find Mank such an interesting movie as well because basically almost every character in Citizen Kane has a real world analog apparently, and I think that there's a lot of liberty. I was reading that Fincher took a lot of liberties with his depiction of Mank being the primary creative force behind the screenplay, because apparently Mank did write the first draft, but a lot of the kind of split perspective stuff and the like sort of Rashomon style of this, non-linear storytelling, that was sort of Orson Welles' design. Like he wanted it to feel that way, and Fincher definitely depicts it like Orson just wanted to waltz in and put his name on something that he didn't actually do. But that's not necessarily according to what I've been reading. That's not.
Well, I mean,
the full
and
truth.
Also he did kind of put that into perspective too in the story, because there was that scene where Mank is like, I just give him the word. Because they're like, this thing is way too fucking long, dude. This thing is ridiculous. You need to prune this down. He's like, I just give him a story that makes sense, and he's the one who turns it into something. Like,
yeah.
So I mean, they do kind of paint Orson Welles as kind of like a dirtbag a little bit in the film.
Yeah, he doesn't get a lot of screen time or kind of introspective moments where you get to actually understand the character. In Mank, it very much is just a Mank story, and it's very much in favor of his kind of opinion and feelings towards Orson Welles and the whole industry.
It's honestly weird for Fincher to have this kind of... Well, I mean, I guess he didn't write this, did he? Fincher?
No. I think like his brother did, or it was someone else with the last name Fincher that wrote this.
Okay, because like I was like,
it's the only movie he's ever written.
Yeah, because Fincher doesn't write anything, so it's obvious whoever made this movie has like sort of that bias towards writers, right? I mean, I feel like that's very obvious in the film.
He doesn't write anything?
He's never wrote a film.
Okay, maybe it's just he has to find a script that he likes. But yeah, wow.
Yeah,
he's good at picking them.
Like Orson Welles, he's the villain of the last like 10 minutes of the movie. But I feel like it's not, he makes a point not to necessarily villainize him too early. Like the main villain of the movie is Hearst, I guess, or what was the other guy's name? Mayer, like from MGM,
I forgot his name.
Louis Mayer is the kind of Hearst's proxy, but in some ways. But I think he sidelines Orson Welles so much. Like he's you hear him in a couple phone conversations. He's kind of looming over the entire process of Mank writing the script. But it's intentionally supposed to be shining a light on Mank, someone who history has sort of forgotten, basically. So I appreciate that, even if it's not necessarily fully the whole truth or whatever. If Orson Welles actually did have more creative control than Fincher, the Fincher brothers were willing to say,
because Fincher is the one who basically got all the funding, right? I mean, I think, and I don't think it necessarily paints Orson Welles as like a piece of shit entirely, because even in like his worst scenes, right, there's that like kind of mutual respect they obviously have for each other. Like he's pissed at the end, he's throwing shit around, and he's like, and then fucking Mank's like, actually this is the scene we need right here, and he's like, you're right, you piece of shit. He like walks out.
Yeah, it's just like maybe, and just leaves. Yeah, that was a really smart way to do it. It's just like to depict a contentious relationship between two creatives who, at the end of the day, did want the same thing. They both really cared about the movie, both saw the potential in it. Although they didn't see eye to eye about the credits thing, and maybe Orson was sort of being a little bit predatory in certain ways. I think the movie does a good job of letting you know that they're still basically on the level with each other. More of the real villains of the movie is Hearst,
Mank
and Mayer.
In the wrong, though. I mean, he did make that agreement like before any of this even started, right? And he's the one he's the one who was changing terms, and it's basically just he knew. I mean, I don't know how much of this is actually true, but as far as in the film goes, he was the one who was basically like, people in this town know me. I may be a piece of shit, but still, you're new. You're not going to fucking have backing here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that was probably more of a negotiation tactic than anything, because it, like, as the scene that's going on concurrently, that dinner table scene where he fully becomes the court jester, or basically just the Joker, the drunk Joker, that dinner scene. Like, everybody, like, Mank can say that all he wants to Orson, but people do fucking hate him. Like, he burned all of those bridges by puking on that dude's floor. Just saying that I'm gonna make a movie about how you're a total piece of shit, So I don't know. Like, do you really think he could have gotten backing from anyone? He sort of burned all his bridges.
It definitely was just a negotiation tactic. But how much do you think Orson knows of that? Does he know everything? How much everybody hates him? Obviously not, because he respects him, and he's the person he specifically sought out for the script.
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of a gray area. I mean, I think you have to assume that maybe it's probably sort of common knowledge. I would assume. I don't know how much you could waltz around and just sort of shitting all over these extremely powerful studio executives and media moguls and shit, and not have people find out about it. It seems like that was kind of his reputation. That's why he's saying he's washed up, despite the fact that he's writing the fucking best movie ever and his best screenplay ever. He's washed up only not because he's not talented. It's because he kind of just burned too many bridges and ruffle too many feathers.
Can't control his vices for the most part.
Right.
I really enjoyed the movie. I think what I was telling y'all earlier, I think it does have a lot of reliance on somebody either A, really caring about Citizen Kane, or 2, really caring about screenwriting. And I don't think there's much room for other people, or I guess people who just love film overall. But it does feel like Netflix was like, hey, David Fincher, you can make a movie you want to make, as opposed to him making a movie that he thought was going to do well.
I mean, because I think even when this came out, a lot of the times when Netflix puts out a movie, they'll advertise it and just be all over the front Netflix page. But when this came out, I remember I was like, oh, David Fincher. I didn't watch it, but I had to search for it when it came out.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like they were really advertising it. Do you think this movie, for someone who has not seen Citizen Kane, would be enjoyable?
No.
I think it could still be. I just think you'd be missing something.
Yeah. I mean, even if you haven't seen Citizen Kane, Citizen Kane, obviously, that will totally enrich your viewing experience too, by a lot, for sure. Which is why I felt like I should have watched. I stopped watching Mank, and I was like, I feel like I should watch Citizen Kane first, so I'm just refreshed on that. But I think just it goes into sort of a more political film, but in the second half. So if you're interested in that, how capitalists can sort of buy out elections and sway public opinion, and the media can do that as well. I think that's a pretty interesting angle, regardless of your knowledge of Citizen Kane or screenwriting. So there's a little bit more to it than just film industry stuff. So I guess you can get into it in that way. But the film sort of sidelines that, back ends that stuff. It's not really a factor until halfway through, So, and that's that's the meat and potatoes of the movie mostly. That was the stuff that I was most interested in. All the political stuff.
Did y'all notice the Bill Nye the Science Guy cameo?
Yeah, he was Sinclair.
Yep. That's so sick.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't notice him.
Yeah, that was
hilarious. I was like, this voice is so recognizable. Who is this guy? And then it showed his face. I was like, that's fucking Bill Nye, dude.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. I always get I'm always conflicted on period piece films when they have actors. It's the whole discussion of iPhone face. What actors do you think have a face that could fit in any period? Mm. And sometimes you just see them and you're like, what an iPhone is. You're not from 1930s.
Is that Amanda Seyfried?
No, I actually think she looks the part. I'd say maybe Lily Collins has iPhone face a little bit.
Yeah, I could see
the guy that got to play Orson Welles was really good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Tom Burke, he's the guy from Furiosa.
Oh.
He was also originally going to be in Weapons.
I do think Amanda Seyfried has this so-called iPhone face you're talking about. She didn't really look the time. She was fine.
My wife is absolutely in love with her.
I thought her relationship with Mank was really good, and I love how his poor Sarah, his wife, calls out when she's listing all the things that she hates about Mank. She's like, all your weird platonic affairs that you have, and he's like, I guess I do that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because why does he have that relationship that they're cuddling with each other and holding hands next to a fountain, all this weird stuff that they do, But That, I mean, I guess that whole conversation that they have at the end, I thought was really, really good. It was sort of a mature declaration of war that they're going to have behind the scenes. Like, she was saying, like, please don't make this movie. It'll hurt my husband's feelings. I know you hate him, but you love me and he's good to me. So please don't do this to him. And he's like, look, I hope if this does get made, I hope you forgive me. And she's like, look, if this doesn't get made, I hope you forgive me, which is basically just implying that they're both going to do whatever the fuck they can to get the movie made or not get the movie made. And they're just going to have to accept those terms afterwards. I thought that was a great scene.
Yeah, no, that was really good. They have a good dynamic.
I think the hardest part about this movie for me is just like it felt very. It's also like what made it good though too. It's like just how dramatized it was. Like it didn't feel very real at all. Gary Oldman's performances were very, very big, and to the point where like I don't buy it. I don't think Mank was actually like this. Well, it's not just him; it's the whole like everything that happened was so dramatic.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
Yeah,
that's the thing I was telling you guys. Like, Mank is basically a movie about a guy who says the coolest shit ever, the most epic comebacks, and just walks out of rooms the entire movie. Like, he's just constantly owning people and saying the cleverest things you could possibly think of. Which is, yeah, that's sort that. But like, also, I agree with you. It's very dramatic, dramatized.
I think it's also cool how like a lot of the things he says that you think are interesting, you can like later on in the movie, you kind of see where he got those from. Like the monkey thing and all that. Like you can kind of see where he's pulling his inspiration from. I think that's the coolest part about this movie is just seeing where he's pulling all this inspiration from for every little thing. And that's kind of like what was the most fun about watching Citizen Kane after for me is just being like, ooh, I get it. I get where he pulled this inspiration from for this piece and this piece.
Yeah. And the biggest thing, like Mank to me is sort of like a monument to art as revenge. Because if you think about it, it's like, yeah, at the time, this William Randolph Hearst guy, or Rudolph, if it was Randolph or Rudolph, but he was the biggest fucking deal. Like, he was the head honcho of fucking everything back then. He was basically like the Rupert Murdoch of their time. But now, who the fuck remembers him? Everybody knows Citizen Kane, even if you're not a film person. So, like, ultimately, Mank won. You know, like, he won their rivalry, despite at the time being seen as this, like, washed-up court jester. He was like, I'm just going to write the best movie ever about how you suck, and I'm going to win, ultimately.
And that's going to be the last thing I do before I die.
Yeah, it's fucking great. It's a great story, ultimately. I love it.
Yeah. Do you think, because this feels very odd in David Fincher's filmography. You know, he usually makes a lot of like detective or crime thrillers, and this is kind of like, it feels like a passion project, like a love letter to old Hollywood, and of course to Citizen Kane. It's just very interesting compared to a lot of his other stuff.
I think it's in line with like the Zodiac type story. Like it's, I think at least visually, right? He's like kind of pulling from that like noir time period with how he filmed it. Since he doesn't write his own films, I mean,
I feel, yeah, like visually, I think that like aesthetically, it definitely is a love letter to that period of Hollywood. But more than anything, it feels like an indictment of Hollywood than a love letter to me, because it's just like how all of these people were just abusing their power and just using Hollywood to basically like crush political opponents that they didn't like for whatever reason, you know, which has been going on forever. So
yeah, I think that part was really funny with him at the beach where he's like, I know that chick.
Yeah.
Doing the fucking whoever it was ad.
Oh, the anti Sinclair ads. And that whole part with the guy who Shelley, the one who ended up getting Parkinson's and he kills himself and all that stuff, like that was
that was really sad.
Really tragic thing. Like, he was just used by the studio. They basically just dangled his own ambitions in front of him as a carrot and was like, look, we know you want to get into the director's chair, so the only opportunity we're going to give you to do that is to direct these propaganda films that aren't even real people's real political opinions, but we'll let you do this. That's the only thing we'll ever let you do. And then you get Parkinson's and kill yourself in an office while you're wasted. You know, it's just like fucking tragic, dude. It sucks.
That was crazy for me when I'm just like, when he hands him the bullets and he keeps the gun, I'm like, give me the fucking gun.
Yeah.
No. We're not doing that.
Yeah, and his wife's like, "Wait, he's got a whole box of them, Mank." He's like,
You
"What,
dumbass?"
It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they show Mank at a funeral right after, but it's just that Irving guy who died afterwards, and you don't know. Right? They never tell you how he died. Irving,
No, he just
I don't think
died.
they imply anything.
the guy who got his testicles crushed. Remember
Yeah.
that story he was telling?
Yeah,
was like,
that's right. He's like, and that's when it's nothing personal in politics. It's just the game.
I guess it just actually happened. So like, this is a good opportunity for us to show that Mank is still blackballed.
Yeah. Why do you have to say he got his testicles crushed? I mean, do you think he literally got them crushed? Because I actually couldn't stop thinking about
sour
that.
grapes.
I was thinking about it too.
Were they
crushed
actually
was very
fully destroyed?
descriptive.
You know,
I think somebody probably just stepped on his nards and made him do their bidding.
his nerds.
His nards, dude.
They cut him off and chewed on him like cherry pits.
It's Brooklynese for nuts.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I thought Charles Dance was incredible in this film. He's looming
great.
over the entire thing, which is basically just Tywin Lannister. You know, like he's just doing
he kind
he's
of
doing
plays that in
Tywin Lannister
everything.
in this. Yeah, but well,
He's
actually,
one of
I
those
saw he did like a
actors-
transgender role one time. Do you guys ever see that?
Really? Oh.
Yeah, he played
Mhm.
like a transvestite or transgender.
Charles Dance is kind of like that Giancarlo Esposito type actor, where they're really good at doing the like, I'm the evil businessman.
Yeah,
I don't know if he can do. I haven't seen enough of Charles Dance's like filmography to know if he can do anything other than that. Because Giancarlo Esposito can do more than that, but he just kind of like gets typecast a lot.
right. Yeah,
Do something too well.
I don't see Charles
He's been
Dance
in a lot of movies.
I don't see him too many things, but I mean, just basically for that entire little monologue about the organ grinder's monkey was just like such a Tywin Lannister type of moment. Like, look,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you know that you're my bitch, but I'm gonna do it in like the most philosophical, roundabout way, and just lead you out of the door after you puked on my floor. You know,
I'm sure he was I feel like a lot of those like British actors, like they do a lot different things when they're younger, and then when they get old, they start just kind of doing the same shit over and over.
Been in 139 movies.
That's what I mean. Like I'm saying, when he was young, he was probably doing all kinds of different shit.
And Mank is his highest rated movie.
That's
it's
sad.
kind of like Malcolm McDowell, like the guy who played Alexander DeLarge in Clockwork Orange. Like, I think he was playing more weirdos when he was young, and then as he got older, he's sort of settled into old British guy vibes. You know,
Gary Oldman too.
It's hard not to
Gay
settle
old man,
into old British guy vibes. I think, as Nick was saying, that British people just have a vibe and like a texture to them that you just you can't do much else besides be like, I'm old and British, and I'm lording over this
I'm
land.
old and British.
Yeah, they turn
Died
they turn
evil.
they turn 60 when they're like 40. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What do you guys think Tom Holland's going to look like as a 70-year-old man? Do you think he's going to be playing evil British roles?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think he's more of a what's the guy from
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Well, he's in what's it called? The movie we watched that you love
Get
about
Out?
drugs and heroin.
Train spotting.
Yeah, what's the bad guy in Train Spotting?
Begbie.
Yeah, it'll be like him someday. I hope.
I could see that.
That's my hope.
David Carlisle.
Robert Carlyle.
Yeah, Robert Carlyle.
Yeah, I could see that. So, who's your guys' favorite performance in Citizen Kane? Is it Orson Welles?
I think it is Orson
It has
Welles.
to be Orson Welles. He was great.
Yeah, it's
he may have had an
incredible
ego as
performance.
a 20-year-old or 20-something, but man, he's got the talent to back it up.
So he came from radio. Is that what they were saying? He was like a radio star.
I think it was. I don't know. I think the radio network is what funded him, though.
That RKO, because I've never seen that other than Citizen Kane.
RKO Pictures, right?
I'm not sure if he came from television or came from a radio or not, but it would make sense, I guess.
Got a great fucking
also
radio
said,
voice.
they were like, he was lured to Hollywood by people, or like, the way they opened the statement of Mank, where it's just like Orson Welles was lured to Hollywood by something.
It's crazy how like unhealthy these people were back in the day. Like
Yeah.
Like Orson Welles got like to like fucking 500 pounds by the time he fucking died. He's so fucking big.
Did you guys see that picture I sent you of him like near the end of his life?
No.
The New York Times. It sends it into our group chat, but it's basically a picture.
Wow, he's really orange.
It's a picture of him in a black shirt, but his body is taking up the entire frame. So he kind of looks like Kingpin in Into the Spider-Verse. Like he's just so large that his body takes up all the entire aspect ratio of like a vertical photo on your phone. It's kind of insane.
I don't see anything.
It's he got huge.
Dude. Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy. Like they all die so early too. It's like, boys, just enjoy your fucking fame and money, dude. It's not even milk and steak, dude. It's like drinking ungodly amounts of alcohol.
Drinking consistently, smoking every day, and just it's the food and they're not eating healthy. 40s and 50s drink, like the meals were not balanced.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, most people don't even eat healthy potatoes nowadays, but just like imagining what they were doing now back then. I guess at least they had less processed shit. That probably slowed down aging.
Maybe.
But the drinking
cholesterol,
and the cigarettes,
I'm sure, was enormous.
I mean, that's like you always when you watch movies from this area, it's so funny to remember that they all thought that smoking cigarettes was like either just a net neutral or potentially even good for you. Like, this could actually help me in some way by smoking these all the time.
No, like it's weird when you watch these old movies and you like look up how old they were and you're like, oh my god, dude, they look older than me and they're 20.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I heard Orson Welles, he really to get into the older aspects of Charles Foster Kane, like in the older stages of his life, he was like relentlessly studying old people, like the way they talk and move, and he was like adding gravel to his voice. Like he really took it seriously.
I believe it.
The only time that the makeup doesn't look that great to me, I mean, it's, obviously it's not perfect. It would probably look pretty laughable if you saw it in a movie in 2025, but for the time it was great. But like the scene when his second wife is leaving, the opera singer, and it's like clear that he's wearing
an undershot of his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a bald cap. It's clearly a bald cap, and it just looks kind of silly and everything. But yeah,
you can't really fault it for it. I mean, you like, especially with it being upscaled like it is nowadays. I'm sure back then you couldn't have even noticed.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's like it's kind. I don't know if you guys feel it this way, but it's sort of intimidating to even like consider talking about something like Citizen Kane. I guess it's sort of like talking about Godfather 2 on the podcast. Like,
it's a classic. It's got such a mainstay in the cinema landscape.
Yeah, it's just hard. It's hard to say things.
For me, it's like if I want to say anything negative about it, it's like I'm just going to be a contrarian at that point because everybody likes it.
Well, do you have anything negative to say about it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Well, I feel like it's hard to say negative things about it without taking into account like when it came from, right? Like it's
just ignore that. Just tell me the CGI is bad.
No, I think the cinematography and the CGI is fine. I mean, I don't like what's the thing they did with their voices back then?
The transatlantic.
Yeah, transatlantic shit.
How's it going?
Because it is one of those things nobody actually talked like that. Like it was for screen. So
yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of that, obviously. And it does make things feel very like a stage play, which I think this movie kind of stayed cinematic for the most part, especially with its like cool camera tricks and stuff. But yeah, the performances are definitely very dated, obviously. That's really the biggest thing for me.
A lot of performances back then, I think with most movies, they went bigger because it was much more common for people to be stage actors. So they had to perform bigger so that people could see it.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Obviously, all that stuff is true, but I think even in a lot of like really older classic movies you can watch, you can have that stuff ruin the viewing experience for you totally. Like this is just too much of a product of its time for me to even really enjoy it now. Like I definitely feel that way sometimes when listening to old music, even or just old movies. But with this movie, I feel like it's doing something so universal and it's still like so thematically modern and relevant that it is a pretty enjoyable viewing experience regardless, and probably always will be, I think.
I feel like it impacts Citizen Kane less and Mank more. Like I feel like that's part of like what was like they were almost going for like the transatlantic thing in Mank, and it's like, but this is like a real thing. Like I want it to feel real.
I mean,
they go for it a little bit. But...
I'm sure people do the transatlantic accent even when they're not on screen back then. I'm sure people just were like, well, everyone talks like that, so I got to talk like that.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure some people did. I think Nick is right that it was mostly a thing that they did on screen. It's like basically their version of how newscasters talk now, where it's like, oh, earlier today there was, like the way that people on CNN talk. Like I think that's kind of how maybe normal people nowadays don't really emulate that so much when they're talking. Maybe people in Hollywood would because they're so close to it all, and I don't know. But maybe like the Marion Davies character, like Amanda Seyfried, I feel like she sort of had a transatlantic accent, but it was sort of on the level of like what Pedro Pascal was doing in Fantastic Four, and less
Very
like something
subtle.
straight out of Citizen Kane, So it's kind of like it's not.
Yeah, it just felt. Again, this is not. I mean, this is more towards Mank, I think. It just felt very like hammy and like amped up a lot of the time. And like even though the speeches were really sick from Mank, I still feel like I could have done with a bit more realism, especially when I'm going into like a biopic like movie.
Yeah, I feel you. But I mean, ultimately, I feel like these two movies as a companion piece, double feature, it's just really, really cool. Even if you're not super interested in Hollywood history, I think if you're interested in politics, like you said, Nick, if you're interested in screenwriting, like there's just so much to get from both of these movies, especially watching them back to back. I'm so glad that David Fincher made this movie, that Netflix like gave him the leeway to even make a movie like this, because clearly people this is probably like one of his least respected or beloved movies.
It's not even that. Yeah, it's one of his least popular at the very least.
I think people just haven't seen it. I think a lot of people haven't seen it.
It's also, I just don't know why he's got a lot of projects coming up that I don't really love the idea. He's making like a remake or an American version of Squid Game, and he's doing like a spin-off of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's like his next two projects. I'm like, David, what are you doing, man?
Well, to be fair, Mindhunter was awesome. So like any TV he's gonna make, I'm down to give it a shot.
That's true.
I sometimes think, I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I sometimes think David Fincher doesn't realize that he's David Fincher. If you know what I mean.
He doesn't realize how talented he is.
Like, or not even, well, that maybe, but also just like he doesn't really realize his place in the industry all the time. Like he kind of does, like, why would he be, I agree with you, Ethan, like why would he be doing a remake of Squid Game of all things?
Squid Game.
It's just like kind of strange. Like a show that there's 3 seasons of the Korean version. They just did a fucking reality show of it, and now he's doing a remake of it. Like it's kind of weird, and then doing a sequel to fucking Quentin Tarantino's movie.
It's really,
like, what the fuck?
Like that's really a thing that like Sean.
I don't really think he sees himself as like an auteur, though. I don't think he.
Yeah, he's one of the greats, but he doesn't realize that, or he doesn't.
I think he realizes how he's perceived, but he doesn't perceive himself that way.
Whereas I think like someone like Quentin Tarantino really gets off on himself. He really feels himself a bit too much.
David Fincher is pretentious in his own way, but it's usually based on like the things he feels strongly about, and not like image stuff.
He's a bit of a perfectionist. Because like, have you guys seen behind the scenes? I think it was like there's a take in Zodiac where Jake
like
Gyllenhaal had to go put a
times or something.
Yeah, he did he put a notebook. I think he like threw his notebook through the car door into the car seat, and they did 120 something takes, and there was no lines. He just had him redo this, and it took like an hour and a half, and he's like, okay, that one's good.
That's exactly why he loves digital, though. Because he
doesn't have to waste thousands.
You couldn't do that on film.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing we talked about, the film aspect of like digital versus film, and how there's kind of like a stigma around it. Nick, you were talking about how you think that's kind of like a pretentiousness.
I do find it kind of ultimately pretentious a little bit, or maybe elitist in certain ways, to be like, oh, like we'll only shoot on film. I'll only shoot on film. Which I think Fincher doing that with Zodiac, and basically ever since I think is kind of legitimizing and democratizing digital, a more accessible, cheaper form of or medium for filming your movies than film, which is obviously like very cost prohibitive, and you can only really afford to shoot a feature length film if you have like a fucking gigantic budget.
But you don't think that has a lot to do with how he films movies? Because I think even outside of, I don't like Christopher Nolan, but I think even if he was shooting digital, he wouldn't take that many takes for his shots. He doesn't see, like, I don't think he's that kind of guy. I think he wants to get it in a couple takes.
Yeah, that could be so. And I mean, I just personally feel like it's something for the director more than it's for the audience, which is fine. It's always kind of, even, people talk about that like one for me, one for them mantra when you're talking about like what projects you're going to take on. But I think artists, they deal with those two questions throughout the entire process of making art. It's like, well, I could do this for me, or I could do this for the people that presumably are going to be consuming my art. So I feel like when you're deciding to be like, I'm going to spend whatever it is, $4 or $5 million extra dollars, it might even be more than that, to do it on film.
Yeah, film's very expensive.
That's basically like this. I'm doing this for me, because who the fuck is going to notice this besides like people like us, and there's not that many of us out there who are gonna.
So I was watching, what's that? I forgot what it's called, but the new Tom Hardy movie that was on Netflix, I think it's called Havoc. And they did this crazy emulation of film on it, and it looks terrible. It looks absolutely fucking disgusting. It's the worst film grain effect I've ever seen in a movie. And my girlfriend's like, this looks disgusting. I hate when they put grain on movies like that. And then she's like, I like it when it looks clean. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then the other night I was watching Shanghai Noon, and she was like, they actually made the grain look good in this. I was like, this was shot on film. That's what it looks like. So I think, like, the average person doesn't know, they do see it. They do see the difference in it, even if they don't know it's shot on film or not.
They don't know what it is. Yeah. Because for me, we talked like I just did a short film recently called Spaced Out. And for that, when we did the spacesuit scene with the helmet and all that, that was originally, we talked about shooting that on film, because we're like, that's the aesthetic, let's do it. And I have a Super 8 camera. That would have cost me an additional $300-$400 just to shoot that, because it was like 45 minutes worth of footage trimmed down to.
But do you wish you did?
No, because I faked it, and then everyone at the theater, I was like, oh yeah, we thought about doing it originally on film, and they're like, oh, it wasn't on film? So they don't fucking know.
It looked really good. It looked very believable.
It did look good.
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
But no, it's I think a lot of it does come down to what are you trying to achieve with film versus digital. Like, for me, I if I take a photo on a film camera, I'm like, oh, it's just got that kind of look to it where you're like, ooh, now that's cinema, baby. And then I think it's a lot easier. Not easier. It's there's like a more of a special visual aesthetic to film compared to digital, where you kind of have to work with the information, because digital cameras have so much more like information they can take in, so where a lot of the times images can feel flat on a digital camera, where I think film, everything's like the colors are richer, the blacks are darker. I don't know, it's just one of those preference things.
It creates imperfection without you trying to like emulate imperfection, right?
Yeah.
And I think people don't realize how, when things look so perfect, it looks unnatural. Like if you watch a lot of I've watched a few Korean dramas, like just like Korean soap operas and stuff, and they shoot those on like 12K cameras, and they look absolutely pristine, but it looks absolutely horrifying. They look so clean.
Do they use like the 60 frames per second thing too, that a lot of American soap operas use, though? Because that's part of that, I think.
That probably is part of it too, the high frame rate.
I hate the high frame rate movies.
But it is also, the picture quality is way too like crisp.
Right.
I also think there's a lot of movies where like you can take that lesson from film. You want to have I don't think movies look better when the frame is perfectly clean all the time. Like, I looked it up. The Batman, I initially thought it was shot on film. It is not shot on film. They just went in and used very specific old lenses to like kind of create that vintage look. And it looks amazing. Like, it looks like the frames are dirty a little bit. And they kind of emulate that film aesthetic. And I think that I don't know. It's just got that. It feels real. It feels good.
Yeah. No, I mean, my main thing is like if Nolan and Tarantino want to do it, they can do it. I mean, Robert Eggers does it too. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if he did
I
it.
think
he
so.
definitely did it for The Lighthouse, but I don't know about his more.
I don't know if he did
movies.
it for The Killers or The Killer or whatever it's called.
That's
no, not Eggers. What am I talking about? I'm talking about
Fincher.
Because Linklater, he does film too, doesn't he?
I'm not sure about. I'm not sure about
Nosferatu was shot on film, 35 millimeter.
Yeah, so I'm saying like if you can afford to do it. That's fine. I just think the kind of conversation around it can be sort of pretentious, especially from like me personally coming from my background in music. Like there are a lot of bands who will be willing to pay out the ass and just waste time to be like, oh well, I want to record on this analog console that some band that I like from 1975 recorded on. And it's just like you can achieve the same effect that's virtually indistinguishable, that nobody's going to know the difference with a fucking plugin that you can buy for $20 on your laptop. It's just like the digitization of art creation has democratized the process. It's made it more accessible to people, which I think is ultimately the best thing that could have happened. You know, all of these, the old way of doing things analog, it really did just make a ton of gatekeepers. It made financial gatekeepers. It made corporate gatekeepers because you couldn't use the gear unless you were in with certain people or had the money to use it. I just think it's like, it's kind of it's just, my main point is that I'm glad Fincher is a person of his caliber that's basically saying, no, digital is good. I'm not going back. Like, I think that that helps people ultimately.
I think the argument should never be nobody should be shooting digitally. I think the argument should be that film has its place if you have the resources to use it.
Right.
Yeah, I think I was hearing it was David Lynch talked about how, because he had to shoot everything on film. He's been in the industry long enough. But in the early 2000s, I think it was Inland Empire. Is that one of his?
Yeah. He was like, I'm never doing this shit again. Fuck that.
Well, because he was like, with digital, you don't have to waste time. I mean, you can just like experiment because you have time and freedom to do stuff. Like and I don't know if this was. Is it all film cameras when we're doing video? They kind of they emit quite a loud sound.
Yeah.
Especially IMAX cameras. Have you guys seen the set videos from like Nope or anything like that, or Superman? It's literally just like like they have to like ADR half the dialogue.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
But Superman wasn't shot on film, right?
It was shot on IMAX. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
But IMAX digital?
Is there an IMAX digital?
I think there is.
It was shot on IMAX. I know that. Was Superman shot on film? Let's see.
So that means you're saying all the audio is ADR? That's crazy.
No, it was not shot on film, but it was shot on a digital IMAX. But film IMAX, I know is loud. I don't know about if an IMAX digital is loud, but a lot of the times, yeah, if they're shooting for IMAX scenes, it's pretty bad.
That's
crazy. Or they have to get special audio equipment to be able to like separate the different sounds. Yeah, it's a pain.
Yeah, if you hear people shot at, like, unless they're advertising 70 millimeter, it's not shot on IMAX film.
Okay.
But speaking of Superman, maybe we should get into, unless you guys have more to say, maybe we should get into Peacemaker.
We just do ratings on Kane. Yeah. Oh, before we move on for that, actually, I have one. Does this remind you of something? I'm going to read you guys a news headline. We all know that like James Bond, the franchise is now owned by Amazon/MGM. Jeff Bezos reportedly is obsessed with casting his wife Lauren Sanchez in a major role in the new James Bond. Quote, this isn't just fantasy casting.
Has she acted?
Nope, she's a journalist. Quote, he's obsessed, says a Hollywood insider. This isn't just fantasy casting. Jeff wants her on screen, period. She's not an actress, the studio exec said, but she's Jeff's muse. And when you spend $8 billion, you get what you want.
So Citizen Kane?
So do you guys think this is going to cause Denis Villeneuve to leave the project?
I think that she would be kicked off the project before he left the project.
Yeah,
I think so. I mean, I don't know. It depends on how big Jeff's ego is.
Because I think that would just continually happen with whoever is attached to it. I think that if you really want to hire a real director, which they almost always do for Bond movies, they're not just going to hire some like, person who like a Brett Ratner type. They're going to try to get a Villeneuve
Sean
in there.
Levy.
Yeah, like they'll
Directors,
probably say no. Ultimately.
Almost any big director is going to have final say on their casting.
Yeah, I don't think he has final cut for this though.
No, they don't usually get. They don't always get final cut, but they almost always get final say on casting because that's literally their job.
No,
Sure.
but that's hilarious, Ethan. That's just what I was saying before. Like that Citizen Kane is eternally relevant, even more so today.
Absolutely.
But
anyway,
let's do
Citizen
ratings.
Kane gets a 4 out of 10. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know how to rate this one. I guess I'll give it an 8. I really liked it, and maybe if I watch more of like movies around this time, I'll kind of appreciate it more and be like, damn, in comparison. But I think it's a really great movie, especially for its time, I'm sure. But yeah, I'll just leave it at an 8.
Yeah.
You want me to go now? Oh,
I'll give it a 10 out of 10 for sure.
I was thinking 8.5 on it.
So Nick gave Citizen Kane 1 entire point higher than Thunderbolts, everybody. Which means that Nick thinks Thunderbolts is almost as good as Citizen Kane. Mark that down. He's a Marvel shill now, actually. After everything.
I've already explained my superhero scoring is different scale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like, listen, I don't know if Citizen Kane would be able to handle the deep emotional parallels that the Sentry goes
also,
through.
Thunderbolts has gone down for me significantly.
What would it be now?
Probably 6, yeah.
Okay. So what about Mank? I'll give Mank an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards a 7.
7 as well for me.
Yeah, it's good, but I don't know if I'd rewatch it.
Yeah. I think I'm going to do this Citizen Kane Mank rewatch every year on my birthday now because today's my birthday. So it's a little treat. A little treat to myself. I'll do Citizen Bane and then Dank, the Mank movie. But yeah. So let's get into Peacemaker a little bit. What do you guys think of this first episode?
Mm-hmm. I don't like it as much as last season, but it's only 1 episode.
It's hard to tell after 1 episode.
It's still good.
I judge first episodes for shows off of, is there a good enough hook to get me interested in the rest of the season? And I think there is. Because
oh no, go on, Ethan. Sure.
No, because I'm sure you're going to bring this up. I know you're making a video about it, but the multiverse thing is getting so tiring. I understand that, but when it's the point of the story and there's like a thematic relevance and an arc for a character to go through, that's what it should be used for. And that is what they are doing, seemingly. Whereas it's not just, I'm sure there will be cameos. I bet it's a superhero thing. But it doesn't feel like the entire point of the story was written to be, hey, what if we brought back Henry Cavill as Superman and he was a different version of Superman? What do you think?
Yeah.
Something it made me think of, do y'all remember like in the early 2000s, like this, I feel like this type of storyline was very common back then. And like just any old sitcom.
Yeah, they did this in sitcoms a lot.
Yeah, this is like a very funny sitcom trope for me, which I am trying to envision it more like that than like an MCU multiverse type story.
It's like instead of they would frame it as a dream or something rather than a multiverse
or it'd be like,
thing.
Like on Christmas, it'd be like, I wish you guys weren't even my family. And then they wake up and their family's gone. They're like, wait a minute, this is awesome. But then they learn it's not awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it's more like that than like them really leaning into trying to expand this multiverse thing because I don't necessarily love it.
I think it'll be a character trait because I mean, we're spoiling the episode. It's basically it's a world he wishes he existed in because it is his dad is seemingly not racist and everything phobic. He's dark woke or whatever they call it, and he loves him and he tugs on his little earlobes and he's like, "Love you, buddy." Yeah. And his brother is Roy from The Office, and he's nice and cool. And he's also woke. He's like, Dad, stop calling them gremlins or whatever.
Yeah.
What does he call them? Munchkins? He's like, Dad, they're not munchkins. He's like, this guy. Can you believe him calling them munchkins? It's so offensive.
What were they?
What is
actually?
in a big old house?
What is dark woke even? Never heard of that. What is that?
It's like woke, but you're a bit edgy.
Oh, that's like me and Nick.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't know if Nick would even go as far to say he's dark woke, but I feel like that captures me pretty well.
I don't know what I am. I'm just a nice Southern boy.
But yeah, so as for the wait,
Why has Gavin Newsom gone dark woke?
Is this a real thing? We have to talk about dark. We have to talk about dark woke a little bit more. I'm sorry. Where'd you hear this, Ethan?
It started in early 2025. Around like apparently Democrats are like, no more Mr. Nice Guy. We've got to be woke, but dark woke.
I'm going on Urban Dictionary.
It has its own fucking Wikipedia page.
Yeah, dark woke is
a person who presents themselves as being woke or morally enlightened, but actually behaves in a smug, sanctimonious manner and is wrong about the morality of the situation.
No, honestly, this is great. I love dark woke. I think everybody should be dark woke because I think ultimately, let me go on about this for a second because I got a brain blast just now. But I think most people generally agree with woke things. Like people want to be nice to each other, they want to be good to each other, but like you at the same time you don't want to be policing everybody all the time, being like, well, you actually can't joke about that. That's not right. But like dark woke, if you're just gonna be like, well, we can joke, we're gonna have fun, but we're still gonna be nice. Like fuck yeah, that's great. That's exactly what we should be doing, I think.
Or right? If we're not nice, it's to somebody who understands why we're not being nice, and it's in a playful manner.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, yes. That's the dark
Sorry,
woke tribe.
I didn't mean to get us down into the dark woke well.
That's
I didn't realize you didn't know what that was.
It's a great term. I love it.
It's really funny.
but yeah. So as for the whole multiverse angle, I think it's really interesting. It's the interesting use of it. I was telling you guys a little bit about it before. I mean, if we're going to compare the two ways, I feel like there's two main ways you can do a multiverse. One of them I see as what Peacemaker is doing right now, where it's centered in character and theme, like everything everywhere all at once. Even Invincible, I think, is basically that, because the only reason Invincible has a multiverse is to basically allow, in like sci-fi comic booky fashion, Mark's worst fears become materialized in front of him, where he fears that he's going to become the villain he believes his dad to be.
Not even that, just to show us the audience how much of an outlier he is to be such a good person.
Yeah, that too. It's all centered in character, and they do a little fun things where like, oh, there's talking dinosaurs and the spider agent or Spawn or whatever the fuck they do in the comics. But like, ultimately, it's all about character. Whereas like in the MCU, it's the opposite of that. It's like, well, we have to find a way to fold in our from the Fox merger. We need to find a way to fold in the Fantastic Four and X-Men, and we also need to bring Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire back because people miss Tony and Steve and all this shit. You know, it's just like it's all this corporate synergy
everything's
bullshit,
designed
you know?
for people to cheer in the theater.
Yeah.
I think
that guy.
I think the biggest thing for me about Peacemaker, and I guess maybe it's because it's kind of like a darker tone based on like the implications of what happened in the last season, but what made the first season so immediately engaging for me was how good all of the quips were, how like just silly everything was, and how much back and forth there was between the characters. And I feel like this was lacking in a lot of that. It was very somber, even though it was kind of silly at a lot of times. It was a lot more somber than the first season.
Yeah, I could see that a little bit, although I don't know. There's always been sort of an emotional undertone to at least John Cena's performance. Like he definitely carries a lot of sadness with him. You don't necessarily see that in his first appearance in the 2021 Suicide Squad.
I mean,
but like
he's the antagonist essentially. He's like one of the villains.
Yeah, but even in the first season, it's not as somber as this is clearly shaping up to be. But I don't know. Ultimately, like he does have to kill his racist dad. It's like you were saying, Ethan. It's so funny. He's like he walks into a multiverse and it's like, my dad's not racist. Yes,
this is awesome.
So like funny. I don't know. I think they should be building up into it more. It just feels like it's like a whirlwind of like him getting shit on right away, which I guess is fine. I'm just saying it's making for a less like I don't know it's drawing me in less than the first season did immediately.
I will say it's also a little bit of like if we're just gonna take where the last season ends, it's your assumption is like, okay, Peacemaker is finally going to get some respect from the world because he just saved the world. But they basically just use that one thing with the Amanda Waller, like how Adebayo reads that diary or what. I can't even really remember what happens, but now Amanda Waller's pissed at them. Her. Yeah, and now because of that single plot point, despite everything else that happened at the end of season 1, it's basically like, oh, but now everyone's in the worst position they could possibly be in. So that does feel a little bit ham-fisted ultimately, because it's like, well, we had a whole season of them sort of legitimizing themselves,
building
especially
something up.
Peacemaker. Yeah.
And now it's like what I was talking about like the other day. Whenever character like progression is just wiped, that always pisses me off.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the characterization is still the same. I think like Peacemaker definitely kept everything that he learned in the first season. It's just like his circumstances now seem shittier.
But I definitely think Harcourt's regressed as a character a lot.
Well, that's only because she's out of work and she's fucking desperate, you know.
She's
suffering from toxic masculinity.
That was funny.
Yeah,
I think.
James Gunn's brother. To Mars.
Oh yeah, James Gunn brother pushed into every single property he makes is insane to me.
I mean, yeah, I if I had family that was actors, I would get them in stuff. I see people complain about that all the time. I don't really get that. I saw a review for Superman on like Letterboxd. It was just like, the movie's really good, but I just hate when James Gunn always puts in friends and stuff and everything. I'm like, Nathan Fillion, is that it? Sean Gunn shows up for like a cameo. Like I don't really get the complaint for Superman at all.
So what did y'all think about the them changing the ending of the original season?
I think it's simple, and I'm like, yep, cool.
I will say that it definitely threw me off. It threw me for a loop for a second. I was like, what is this? But I get it. Yeah.
I wish they would have actually refilmed it and like updated the episode.
That's what I checked. I checked to see if they did that, and they didn't. I was like, oh.
No, someone asked him, and James Gunn was like, he's like, dude, I really wanted to George Lucas the shit out of season 1, but I don't have the time or money to do that.
It's one scene. It's one scene, and they pretty much already filmed it.
Yeah. He meant going back and changing the entire season for any like references.
Yeah, they don't have to do that. The ending is the only important part that they needed to change up. I mean, the other thing he said was right. That Aquaman, that nobody knows he exists yet. That's the only other big one.
Yeah. It's Aquaman. There's a few things like people ask him like, is Batmite canon? Is Kite Man canon?
But like that's almost a lot of that kind of stuff can be chalked up to just him being kind of breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
James Gunn, I feel like go on, Ethan, what are you saying?
No, I always find it funny when people get mad that like people got really triggered that Peacemaker was like, yeah, Superman has a poop fetish. People are like, James Gunn doesn't know how to respect characters. Now Superman has a poop fetish? It's like, no, Peacemaker's a dumbass. Do you have no media literacy at all?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they like Zack Snyder movies, so yeah, they don't.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, James Gunn, to me, he's someone, especially in these interviews he's been doing, he really doesn't care about playing fast and loose with the canon. Like, he doesn't really give a shit. It seems like he only cares insofar as, like, as much people on Twitter are going to annoy him about it, and then he feels forced to, like, say, well, oh, this is canon. That's not Peacemaker season 1 is basically canon. So is 2021, the Suicide Squad, but he doesn't really care. And I feel like maybe we shouldn't really either. Like, what the fuck does it matter?
I think he does probably spend a lot of time thinking about it.
I mean, they did a podcast for season 1 of Peacemaker recently before season 2 came out, and he had a section at the end of every episode where they talked about what was and was not canon for the episode.
Well, I
don't know.
So maybe he does. I've heard him say things like, I've heard him say like, I'm not really the most canon strict person. I've heard him say stuff like that, but maybe
I think he's talking about more like, I don't know, maybe like his interpretation of like adapting the comics, because I saw people complaining about that in a Discord server at one point.
He's also talked about how he's going to have shows that have very conflicting tones, and I'm sure whenever it comes to something like Peacemaker, he's definitely cares a lot less about following very specific canon than he would in like the main like DCU storylines.
So like the tonal canon, if we're gonna call it that, because I mean that's one of the biggest issues with the MCU is that the canon is so strict that every movie basically has to look the same. Even
it's bland, it's boring.
Which is why it seems like he's really doing the opposite of that.
It feels like they're trying to in the Marvel universe. They're like, we need everyone to know this is the same universe, so we don't want to confuse people by making movies look different. So they all look like gray concrete movies. And then I saw James Gunn pitch. Kind of like other filmmakers. I think it was like Craig Gillespie who's filming or is about to. I think they finished filming Supergirl recently. Anyway, he's the director of the new Supergirl movie coming out, and he told him basically like, look, every project we're doing in the same way. If you go read any Batman comic from a different writer and artist, it's gonna look different. That's how our movies are gonna be. Your style, your distinction, all in the same universe, but it's gonna be looking and have a different tone maybe. And I'm like, that's fucking awesome. That's why it seems like so many directors want to work with him. Like Darren Aronofsky is like, I would love to work for the DCU. Darren fucking Aronofsky wants to make a superhero movie with James Gunn. I would like, that's crazy.
Zach Cregger even said something about it recently too. Did you see that?
He wants to make like
he has a Harley Quinn Joker movie.
No, it's not that actually. It's apparently it's like about a henchman that somehow was able to knock out Batman.
Oh yeah, and they said that Harley Quinn would be in it though.
Yes. And what do you guys? Is he going to call it like the Goon?
It should just be he should just make a Hitman movie. If Zach Cregger made a Hitman movie, I would fucking coom my pants so hard. My two favorite people. It just seemed
like, I don't know. Like if I were like a big person in Hollywood, I would totally want to pitch something to DC. Like the Clayface movie where they're just making a R-rated body horror movie out of a Batman villain. Because someone had a good idea for it.
When you said if you were a big person in Hollywood, I was just imagining you being like 8'5". You're like 8'5" and gigantic.
If I was enormous, I would rip the building off the MGM building and make them allow me to make a movie.
I mean, I know I've said it before, but it is just genuinely because James Gunn is a creative. Like, and what's his?
Yeah, he gets it.
Stupid fucking idiot Marvel guy. Is not
Kevin Feige.
No, I changed his name. I mean, stupid fucking idiot Marvel guy.
We talked about it last episode. Please don't call him an executive. That's really rude. He's an artist, just like you guys.
Yeah,
that's insane to me, dude. It's so obvious he's not. And honestly, as much as Eternals literally licked the scrotum from like an underage dog, it looked.
Why does it have to be underage?
It genuinely like visually looked better than most of the other Marvel movies. Am I crazy?
That was the one time they tried to go a little more artsy, and it bombed, but it wasn't because of that. And then they're just like, okay, back to formula.
I think that was like them trying to.
Nick, don't do the voice. But there are some nice shots in Infinity War and Endgame too. I think
there's not
like what the shots. Do you remember
voice?
Infinity War and Endgame, the thing he always does. But when they introduce the Guardians and it's just like Star-Lord's that rubber band man comes on and Star-Lord's like finger behind the lens flare, like that was pretty sick. I thought that was pretty cool.
I really like when the finger was up in the flashy light movie.
See, there we go. But
remember when Thanos had the little winklies in his chin? That was so cool and pretty.
This is a new voice now. This is an even worse voice. This is even worse. I prefer the nerd voice over the baby voice, if I'm being honest. But wait, so what you're talking about with James Gunn being okay with the kind of tonal inconsistencies from project to project, I feel like, good ultimately, but there's kind of a line. Like there's all this discourse about how Robert Pattinson should be in the DCU now, and I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that conceptually. Like that's too far for me. You can't just introduce like the brightest city in the history of cinema in Metropolis and then be like, oh yeah, well just across the bay actually in New Jersey, Gotham exists. And it's like I think the most gothic fucking hellscape ever.
I think they could only really make it work if they introduce some level of supernatural elements in the next movie and do it seamlessly, so it feels like
and they're not going to.
Yeah, exactly.
Matt Reeves said he's already said I made a whole video about this. Like Matt Reeves has said what is too far for him. He's like, there's a character called Gentleman Ghost who's basically a ghost. That's way too far. And I'm like, if that's way too far, like
that's what
like just an invisible man. Yeah, we're not getting like Man Bat and
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be. It's not even about visuals. It's about being able to believe that what happened in Superman could be in the same world as what happened in Batman, and I don't buy it at all.
Yeah,
no, I don't.
That's the visuals. That's where a lot of that comes from, the visuals. No,
I'm not even talking. I guess so, but I'm not even talking about the visuals of those monsters. I'm talking about that giant monster that Superman fought in the middle of the city.
The kaiju.
The kaiju existing in Batman world isn't. I'm not talking about like the darkness of it. I'm talking about like literally that giant monster being in Gotham.
The grounded / fantastical elements. How it's like, I cannot picture this Robert Pattinson's Batman basically like flying over or riding over on his motorcycle being like, I'm coming, Superman. I got my bat utility knife.
As Nirvana blasts in the background.
Jumping in the way. Yeah, no, I think I'm okay with if they did decide to merge it and they were able to make it in a way, whatever. I'm at the point where I'm fine with either way, whatever they decide to do. I'm very much assuming that's not what they're going to do, though. I think they're going to have a new Batman that can be more fantastical, that can be very much like the Batman Arkham games, where it's kind of gritty and has that, serious tactile quality that a lot of Batman stories have, whilst having like a Clayface and a Man Bat and a Mr. Freeze that shoots an ice gun,
I also really don't want them to go with an older Batman, which I think they've talked about wanting to do.
No, they're going to go... I think people are like, he has to be old enough to have a 10-year-old kid, which means early 30s, which is the same age as Superman.
No, you guys both want a fucking 16-year-old Batman. You're like... I said Jake Gyllenhaal. I was talking about Kieran Culkin as the Flash. And you guys...
Jake Gyllenhaal's like 50, bro. 55.
He has to be on TikTok. He has to be like using a satellite to get the best TikTok
I just mean like at least like our age or something, like.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because like I think mid-30s is all you need. Like that's fine as long as they can, that's kind of the age.
I'm just saying, there's
Batman
only
becomes Batman around 20.
I just want Batman to actually be around for a while, I don't want.
I'm sure he will.
Not if they cast fucking 48-year-old Batman.
They're not going to cast that age. I doubt it. They know this is going to be a long-term thing. Like Superman is not that's why Henry Cavill is not Superman, because he's 45 or whatever. They cast 20. Dave Cornsett was 29 when he got the role.
Yeah, but guys, look at fucking Robert Downey Jr. He was like 46 when they cast him as Iron Man.
That's a lot different of a role, though.
But they also weren't expecting that to go.
Because he's tech guy.
So long.
Batman is tech guy too.
Batman is buff tech guy.
Yeah, Batman still...
Robert Downey Jr. is just tech guy with
Get in suit that does everything for me.
Dude, how old is The Rock? The Rock is buff as fuck.
The Rock is like 53 years old.
Definitely on.
Yeah, so what? Old guys can be buff.
Also, have y'all noticed? So Peacemaker...
Dude, I just fucking mic dropped you guys. You're like, I don't know what to...
Also, Henry Cavill's only...
go with that one.
Henry Cavill's only 42. No, I was about to add on to your statement. So, did y'all see how just John Cena moves? He's so buff, like he's like the least athletic guy ever
He's like a big brick of meat.
The way he holds his arms is hilarious, because he just like he can't actually like keep them in a normal way. They're just like his muscles are just fucking with his posture constantly.
Which The Rock isn't. The Rock isn't like that. The Rock is actually can move athletically, but. More so than John Cena.
A little bit, I guess. Yeah, John Cena just does a lot of like he moves like an action figure.
His arms are so fucking big, dude.
The one thing that I was surprised about, they basically confirmed that Peacemaker is bisexual in this episode, and there was no uproar over that. Or maybe there was. I just missed it.
It's John Cena.
He was also that in the first season. They just weren't as outspoken about it.
Yeah, but they actually showed like a dude kissing him, basically, and I feel like people usually
John Cena.
What does that mean?
Nobody's gonna care because it's John Cena, dude.
I
John
don't know.
Cena can fuck who he wants, and we love it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think people.
No, I think it's cool.
The Snyder fans are going to get up in arms about whatever little thing they can. I think. No, like that's kind of what they do.
I don't think John Cena. I don't know how to describe this. I don't see John Cena as the type of person somebody's going to call woke against.
Maybe dark woke.
Maybe dark woke.
Well, but it's not John Cena's decision. It's James Gunn who
But he agreed to do it. He
has been painted woke before. You know?
Has he though? I think he's like the least woke MCU actor director, and he's also made some really disgusting things in Trauma, and said some really disgusting shit on Twitter before he deleted his account. Here's his recent tweets.
Yeah, but what about super woke?
Do you guys remember when John Cena spoke Chinese?
Yeah.
Oh, John Cena.
Yeah.
Bing chilling, Bing chilling.
That was amazing. But but no, I mean James Gunn's been painted as woke before, maybe dark woke. I don't know, but he's definitely.
They literally
that
they
whole
did the whole
Superman shit.
anti-immigrant thing where people were like, Superman. They made Superman woke because he's an alien from a different planet.
Yeah.
And he's nice, which means it's woke.
I think the average person, even Marvel haters, like the Guardians movies, like most of what James Gunn's done. So I don't think any of that's. I think maybe people say that stuff, but people don't usually bandwagon as hard as a lot of the other directors.
No, dude. There's James Gunn haters out in full force. You haven't seen this lately?
No, it's crazy.
They hate this guy.
There's an account on Reddit called Fuck Gun. I shouldn't even be giving them attention. There's a oh man, I have to find it at some point. We got to watch it together. Maybe we'll make a whole video on it. Someone made an AI like rock song that's about Fuck Gun, and the Snyderverse is going to fight back and take back the DC universe.
It just doesn't. It's insane to me, dude. Like I don't understand. Have any of them seen Rebel Moon? Have any of these people that love Zack Snyder seen Rebel Moon?
I don't think they even like Rebel Moon very much. So yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
They just like Snyder in the context of the Snyderverse. That's all.
Okay, but like I'm saying, like it's proof that anything that's of his vision is bad.
Yeah, I don't know. See, like the thing with Snyder is, I feel like he fundamentally misinterpreted these characters. But at the same time, I mean, you got to respect the fact that he like at least had a vision. Like I don't know, like that's something. It's something that he was a real filmmaker and like kind of crafted this whole thing in his image and to his sensibilities. Like, you know, obviously I'm glad that. Sure, yeah, it did suck for the most part. Although I will say that I like the Snyder Cut more than you guys. I think the Snyder Cut is like pretty good ultimately, but.
I think it's bad. I think it's better than what it was before, but what it was before is literally like a Play-Doh mold of human feces.
I think the best thing the Snyder Cut has going for it is that the Justice League cut came out first.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's
you
got
guys
cool stuff in it, but yeah,
you guys don't see the Snyder Cut as a win for art, though. Ultimately, I see it as that.
No, but I do think that had he, I do think that had he been able to direct it all the way through initially, it probably would have been a better movie. I still think it had Joss's fingerprints all through it, even in the Snyder Cut. I don't think it would have been good.
Possible? Justice League was all Joss Whedon reshoots, so there was nothing. I don't think there's any, like, not even a single scene that Joss Whedon did.
There's a few like shots and stuff in the original version.
They couldn't afford to completely redo the whole entire thing,
and it was still ended up being like $350 million by the end.
Wait, I thought that they totally finished filming before that Zack Snyder quit. He left in post-production. I'm pretty sure he did.
No, he left midway through filming. His daughter passed away during filming, but apparently they kind of used that as an excuse to get him out of the project because they weren't really happy with the direction everything was going.
So Joss stuff. There's Josh stuff in the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware.
Damn, I didn't realize that. I always thought that he left during post, but
they reshot a bunch of shit though. But I still do think that had he had creative control the entire way through, it probably would have been a better movie.
I mean, I think it is a better movie though. Ultimately, no. I mean
better than the current Snyder Cut is what I mean.
Yeah, it's also interesting because it's like in a way, the Snyder Cut that is out isn't really the Snyder Cut of Justice League. It's a retrospective version of this idea that he had years ago, and it's not at all how the movie actually would have been when it came out.
It's funny because everybody, like anybody with half a brain, knew that the Snyderverse was dead before the Snyder Cut even came out. So like all this effort into making this thing for like a dead universe, it's just crazy to me.
It was basically just like a subscriber drive for HBO Max. Like they were just launching their streaming service, and they're like, everyone keeps fucking bugging us about this. Like maybe this will boost our numbers, and it did. I mean, it was. I guess it ultimately wasn't really successful. I don't think it did what they were hoping it would do for them, but it did something. It definitely boosted subscribers for a little bit during like the tail end of the worst of the pandemic. You know.
You know what the best thing about them rebooting the DCU is?
What?
They have to recast Wonder Woman.
Oh, isn't that so fucking good? Did we talk about the like Gal Gadot came out and was like, "Oh, I had a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran about how we're gonna make Wonder Woman 3," and then months later they were like, "No, she's not returning." So it's either she lied about meeting with them, or they lied to her face and said she was coming back. I don't know what's funnier.
She's genuinely one of the worst big actresses I've seen.
I think she's got it. Her career is kind of done. I don't know if people are going to keep casting her. There's so much public like
people love her though. People love her because she's pretty. Like genuinely, that's it.
But she's so bad. Kal-El, no, Max Lord, give me the stone. People are going to get hurt.
Yeah, she's unbelievably
Enough champagne to fill the Nile.
So I mean, do you think that Gunn is just recasting Jason Momoa as Lobo because he feels bad?
No, I think it's
they're friends.
Jason Momoa is a good actor,
and he's born to play Lobo. And also, apparently, I saw James Gunn was like, when he got announced that he got the job, he got 2 texts from different people. Like the first text he got was, first one was from Jason Momoa going, "Lobo," and he was like, "All right." And then the second text was from Ryan Reynolds, and he was like, "Hey, congratulations." And James Gunn's like, "Do you want to come back as Green Lantern?" He was like, "Fuck you."
He said "fuck you" literally.
Yeah, he was like, "Fuck you."
Damn. That was my foremost thought at watching Green Lantern again, being like, I feel like the true test of the DCU is like, will they have the restraint not to do that, not to bring back Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern in some multiversal Flash type of shit, you know?
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds like has lost all ability to play anything else other than Ryan Reynolds. I think it can't happen. He would just be Deadpool.
Yeah. Did you guys hear about all the Doomsday set drama with him and Robert Downey Jr.?
Apparently him and RDJ are beefing.
Yeah,
allegedly. That's hilarious.
I doubt it's real.
Yeah, there's kind of just like whispers about it. I don't really know, but that would be funny.
Set
if it was
is
them.
so boring because they're not filming anything. They're just sitting around waiting for the script to be done. So everyone's just bored out of their minds.
They gotta be. I mean, those report. There's so many actors in this movie that, like, yes, some actors are going to be saying that, but I'm sure they're filming things. They have to be. The movie's coming out in like what, a year and a half.
What do you think?
See that Alan Cumming quote where he was like,
"Yeah,
I didn't film a scene with anybody. I just went in. They scanned my face. I filmed.
I don't know who I was in scenes
myself.
with."
Yeah,
well, I mean, they've done this for years. Marvel does this all the time. They interviewed Emily. Oh, what's her fucking name? Scarlet Witch actress.
Emily Blunt.
No.
Oh, Emily. Elizabeth Olsen.
Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen's sister.
Yeah, Elizabeth.
You said Emily, which threw me off. I was like, right.
Sorry, Elizabeth Olsen. No, they interviewed her, and they're like, "What do you think about John Krasinski? Since you guys were in Doctor Strange together?" She's like, "I've never met him." Like they had a whole scene together, and she's like, that was filmed separately. I never got to talk. I never met him. We didn't even film that together."
Yeah.
And she kills him in that scene.
Okay. What do y'all think the over under on Nick giving Doomsday a 7.5 or higher is?
I don't know.
Am I allowed to vote?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I don't do 0.5 ratings, so do 7.
No, that's 7 is like barely above mid.
That's not true.
Damn, you don't do 0.5? Okay. All right.
No, I,
Seven
I
or
just
higher,
do,
whatever.
I just do sevens. Straight whole numbers, bro. But I don't know. I guess I don't know, man. I really don't know. I feel like there's a good chance that I'll be like, yeah, that was actually good. I actually feel like I might like it. And
do you think it's going to be better than Infinity War and Endgame?
No, definitely not. But I think I might enjoy it. I think I feel like if I go to the theater and it gives me what I'm looking for, which is like a nostalgia fun thing that with a bunch of characters that I like, I'll be like, all right, that was what I wanted it to be.
But if that's the case, why didn't you like Deadpool versus Wolverine or Deadpool and Wolverine?
Well, Deadpool and Wolverine was like absolutely ridiculous. I thought like it was a like total. They had all of that nostalgia shit with like literally nothing else to grab onto, and I also just hate Ryan Reynolds' humor. And I knew I wasn't really gonna like that. I don't like any of the Deadpool movies really, so I wasn't expecting to like that. But I've basically like aside from Age of Ultron, I basically liked all the Avengers movies. So I'm like I would say the over under is I'm more likely to enjoy this movie than not enjoy it. I don't know about more than the 7. I mean, I think I gave Thunderbolts over. I gave it a 7.5. That was before I stopped doing 0.5 ratings. But
why would you stop doing 0.5s?
I think because
it's lame.
I started using Letterboxd and I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna keep that for the podcast too.
You're too weak to commit to a number. You give it a 0.5 rating.
So I don't know. That's kind of where I'm standing on it.
What do you think, Ulif? What do you think he's gonna rate it? If you had to guess.
Nick's generous for the most part, so I'm gonna say 7 out of 10.
I think he's gonna give it a 7. That was why I thought this. That's why I said 7.5.
I mean, what did you give Fantastic Four, Nick?
6.
Then I'm gonna say a 6. Actually, I feel like it's gonna be at that quality or worse, so I'm gonna sit on a 6.
Okay.
But at the same, like I'm not rating it like I would a normal movie because it's not a normal movie. It's not even really a movie. It's like
not a movie. It's
just
a roller
like
coaster, like Martin Scorsese said.
And when I look at it that way, if it's like a thrilling ride for me, then I'll be like, yeah, this did its job.
But I feel like your rating for Superman would stick as like a normal movie rating.
Yeah, well, that's why I liked it so much because it felt like a real movie to me, you know. Yeah. But I guess with something like Doomsday that's so purposefully like uncinematic, it's like trying to be an entirely different thing, like a I mean, yeah, you know, I've said all this before. It's a corporate nostalgia cash grab thing, but that doesn't mean I can't enjoy it for what it is, which I think I very well might.
Speaking of massive spectacle and uncinematic things, next episode is going to be our 50th episode, boys.
Yes. And we all agree.
Wait, why is that? Why is that speaking of those things?
I was just going to breeze past it. Didn't want to linger on that.
I'm just fucking around.
Yeah, so the plan is we're going to be talking about, we're each recommending one of our favorite films, right? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
I think we should try to narrow it down to like what, you know, this always changes for everybody.
I think it should be a meaningful movie for us.
No.
Okay.
Our top, like whatever you're feeling right now is your number one film. You have to pick that one.
Your favorite, like our best movie?
Favorite.
In our minds?
Favorite one right now.
Best or favorite?
Favorite.
Okay.
All right. I'll start. I mean, I was going to recommend this anyway. But I want to talk about Brad Bird's 99? Iron Giant. My favorite animated movie of all time.
Well, you've said that it's your favorite Superman movie ever.
I said it. Now it's my second favorite Superman movie. Because we didn't have a good Superman movie before this. Or at least one that I didn't think was like a definitive Superman movie.
Real quick, why is that a Superman movie?
I mean, have you seen it?
No, I've never seen it.
It's a Warner Brothers. There's a lot of Superman. Like it's a Warner Brothers animated movie. So there's like the character shows the giant like, here's my comics. Here's Superman. He's a hero, and then that kind of inspires Iron Giant to be like a hero to people.
It's Superman if he couldn't fit. It's Superman if he couldn't fit in a house.
Okay.
And he was a little slow.
And voiced by Vin Diesel.
Yes, he's voiced by Vin Diesel.
All right, that's cool. That sounds good.
It's a treat. It's a lovely movie. It's the first ever movie to make me cry when I was a kid.
Nick, did you decide on yours yet? I have one ready to go.
You go. I'm gonna pick. I have two. I'm gonna pick based on the vibe of yours.
All right.
Okay. I'm
The
going
Room.
with we've already talked about Michael Clayton. I probably would have picked maybe that, but I think I'm going with No Country for Old Men.
Hell
is
yeah,
my other
that's
pick.
another one of my favorites. I was that or Iron Giant for me.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
so at that point we got the kind of action
You
animated thing,
gotta split the difference.
super serious drama action thing too.
Yeah, mine's like a very heartfelt
I'm gonna go
animated movie.
with the greatest comedy film ever made, Tropic Thunder.
Superbad.
Oh, that's great.
All right.
All right,
Tropic Thunder. All right. Well, if you guys do not want to be spoiled for Tropic Thunder, Iron Giant, and No Country for Old Men, wow, what a spread we got there going. Make sure to watch those before next episode. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and a comment. If you're listening to us on our audio-only platforms such as Spotify and Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review because that is much appreciated. And until then, go ahead and do us a favor and genuinely go stuck yourself.
Get stuck when I
Get stuck when I
dummies.
Mwah.